race fans, and welcome. It's season 17, brand new season, race number 1 of 12, 76 laps that we're going to be doing here for the Cancer Council Australia, cancer.org.au 190, presented by Dominic Harte, live, well, tape delayed live, from the POCONO Raceway in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. Another 2.5 mile circuit, just like how we ended the season 16 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, although the legendary POCONO Raceway could not be any different, although one of the corners is, of course, similar to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This track designed for IndyCars back in the day, and what a fantastic, unique circuit it is. The Tricky Triangle, as it's known. But of course, as we get into today's action, we're going to be talking a little bit more about, well, season 16, because as you probably know, in season 16, if you don't already know by now, it was stolen, the championship stolen by this man, David Strid. Congratulations on his very first championship here in the International IndyCar League, and what a fantastic accomplishment it was, taking that championship from none other than the 5-time consecutive champion and fellow Australian Graham Bunyan. Graham choosing to sit out kind of the last half of the season, and really that gave the door open, that opened the door rather for David Strid to do what he does best, which is win a bunch of races. And there you can see on screen the championship poster presented to David Strid. Once again, congratulations on that very first championship, and perhaps many more to come. And so let's take a look here at the way that they finished up season 16. You saw it all here right on VirtualRacing.Network. If not, make sure you go back and you can check right here on the YouTube of VirtualRacing.Network, and you'll be able to see that David Strid, of course, with 6 wins in 12 starts. Of course, one drop week involved in there. So the points get a little complicated at the end of the season, but this is how it all shook out. Clear margin of victory for Strid over none other than infamous league legend, rival, multiple-time champion Jason Lowe. Graham Bunyan coming back at the end of the season, having to settle for third place in the championship. Dominic Harte, the presenting driver for today's race, and choosing today's sponsorship. Of course, we'll get a chance to talk much more about Cancer Council as we go along with today's broadcast. Fantastic group, and today's race sponsor, proud to have Dominic supporting the league and putting that name out there and raising awareness for cancer and research, etc. Dan Ensch taking 5th place in the championship. Dan, really, that's multiple seasons in a row getting up there in the top 5 of that championship. And so congratulations to him as well. Mauro Ramirez taking 6th place. Of course, you know Mauro Ramirez by now. He's now become the El Presidente of the International IndyCar League. I don't know exactly what his title is. I believe it is president. But he is the head honcho who you'll be talking to, and you'll be able to, if you're a driver, communicate with him and get yourself out there on the racetrack for the rest of the races this season. But there you see the rest of the running order. Rick Lovison, a great top 10 finish in the championship for him, consistent finishes. And you can just see how close it was, just 10 points separating himself and Mauro Ramirez. M.J. as he's known. Manuel Gomez Esteban there in 8th place. Congratulations to him for Team Mazinger. 9th place going to Ryan Bowles, who had an up and down season, but gaining a position there at the end. And Howard Livingston out most of the season, but able to come back and take a couple of positions there at the very end of the season. So that does put him in 10th position, top 10 for him. Hey, that's pretty good. Well, we'll see what he can do this season with a full run at it. Iñigo Mardones, Mike West, David Worrell, Richard Kelbaugh, Mr. Stickwick there in 14th, and of course Will Stearns in 15th. Fantastic group of drivers from last season, but we are so looking forward to this season. And well, why don't we go ahead and get things started? We'll go ahead and head it down trackside and take a look and see where everyone is going to be starting for today's race. Once again, The Cancer.org AU190 presented by Dominic Harte here from Pocono Raceway. So there on your screen, you can see it. Your starting grid for today's race, it'll be none other than A.J. Burton of Team I-5G getting in that top qualifying position. Congratulations to him. Although he did choose to kind of pull off alongside, and I think he's going to choose to start from the back of the pack. There's AJ, just kind of sitting there. Will Stearns just behind as well. So it will be AJ Burton qualified on pole position and just behind Graham Bunyan. But Graham will, in fact, lead us to the green flag here today. Ryan Bowles going to be starting on row 2 alongside of last season's champion, first-time winner, David Strid. Can he repeat this season? Well, there's a lot of great names in this field, so we'll have to see if he can do that. Will Stearns, fantastic qualifying effort, just very close to the front there, going to be starting 5th. Alongside will be infamous Jason Lowe. Just behind, we've got Manuel Gomez-Esteban, and alongside him will be Mike West. Then in the 5th row will be Matty Simpson, and alongside him, the legend Howard Livingston for the carecamps.org. Coconut Castaways, of course, Jason Lowe with Rescue Ranch. AJ Burton racing with Team I-5G. And then we continue on there in the 6th row. Danny Alt going to be taking the start today alongside Mauro M.J. Ramirez. And to complete the list for today, we'll have Rick Lovison alongside Robert Barnicow. Dominic Harte will be bringing up the back row alongside Iñigo Mardones. And of course, as I mentioned, some of these drivers choosing to go ahead and pull off alongside the road and kind of wait it out. Hey, that's their choice. And as we get set to go here, get ready. Manuel Gomez-Esteban actually shown going to be starting at the front, and I don't know how that happened, but he's underway, and so is Graham Bunyan. A little confusing here at the start of this race, but we are officially underway with season 17 and heading into turn 1. It's Graham Bunyan, and I believe there's been some more mix-up in the back. We kind of focus our camera back towards the back. There's Manuel Gomez-Esteban and Jason Lowe racing side by side. Again, not really clear on why Gomez-Esteban was shown up there in the front. I do not have any sort of communication as far as that goes, and although this race today is being shown, I believe we're now under caution so that we can get things kind of straightened out as everyone has slowed down, and David Strid now aligning at the front of this race alongside Graham Bunyan. Not really sure what happened there, but we did officially take one lap under green, and we do also have Iñigo Mardones, who has problems. Perhaps he brought out a yellow flag. Let's go ahead and back it up, and we'll see if we can take a look and see. Oh my goodness, that is some real destruction there. Robert Barnicow, we'll just back this up a little bit more on the screen. You can see Manuel Gomez-Esteban just behind. This is the first lap of the race, and it looks like there AJ Burton coming to the inside, and the two, Robert Barnicow and Iñigo Mardones, tangling, and that leaves a destroyed race car for Robert Barnicow. Sorry, we don't have more information than that. Again, even though this is under delay, we don't really have any sort of actual information as to what took place there. So under caution here, it's a manual administrative thrown caution at the moment. So perhaps our caution feature here in SDK not quite working correctly. Coming up in our next caution, we will get a chance to talk more about the cancer.org.au group, the Cancer Council, and what they do down in Australia. Fantastic group, raising not only awareness, but working in all aspects of cancer, all the different areas of cancer, providing lots of great research, lots of great outreach, and really being able to affect many. One thing that I was kind of particularly pleased with is discussion of skin cancer and how to prevent that, being able to use sunscreens and other different preventive measures as well. So as this field kind of rejoins here and reforms, getting ready to go back under green under the next lap. And so we'll just take a look down through the field and kind of check out some of the paint jobs that we'll be featuring this season. Again, under a different sort of paint policy this season than we have been previous seasons. We decided to open the door and let these drivers kind of do a little bit more of what they want to do. But nevertheless, they do have to comply with the iRacing paint policy. Make sure that nothing that they're doing would violate that. But so that was David Strid there, as you saw in that very familiar number 48 Chip Ganassi racing machine. Here's a brand new livery from five-time champion Graham Bunyan back in the saddle here again this season. So great to have him back, and going to provide a great benchmark for all of these drivers. Graham Bunyan there, brand new livery. We'll be looking forward to seeing a little bit more of that today. Manuel Gomez-Esteban, they're still shown in third place. So Gomez-Esteban racing for Team Mazinger. That also a brand new paint job. He was racing with kind of a blue and white paint job last season, if I do have to say so. It did kind of blend into the background, and I was sort of more thrilled previously with his super colorful paint job that he had, just because it stood out more on camera. But there you go, bright orange for Mazinger and Super Mango, his primary sponsors, and looking great. So next up, got Jason Lowe, the 004 machine, and he's back in the Kirby Pink Pig machine. It's a very familiar paint job to those of you by now. And of course, we will be going green this next time by. We'll now take a look here at Mike West. He's actually still got the same paint job. Apologize, we couldn't quite get a close-up photo on him. Maybe we'll just go to the chase cam. Yeah, we don't quite have that one nailed in either, but as we take a look here, he'll be, there we go. We get a little bit better of a shot on Mike. The familiar black and red paint scheme. Then just behind, Danny Alt, running what we believe is probably not okay of a sponsorship to run, so that's why we won't focus too much on him, but it's great to have him in the field. Howard Livingston racing for the carecamps.org, Coconut Castaways, and that familiar silver, red, green machine, trying to bring some awareness to what those care camps, what the care camps do down in Florida. Of course, we'll always have the Care Camps 250 at the end of the season. We'll show you the schedule here in just a few as well. Here's Mauro Ramirez with a fairly new paint job. The return of this beautiful paint job from Rick Lovison. AJ Burton in this Team I5G, so familiar. What a fantastic team they are, right at the top of everything. Ryan Bowles also being shown with a possibly semi-not legal paint job, but there you go. Will Stearns and Robert Barnicow just in front. We are back under green. David Strid leads us back to the green flag. So lap number 5, and we are underway. This time I think it's for real. That first lap bringing out the caution. And once again, we apologize for any issues with a little bit of confusion here. And also doing this in delay, it doesn't quite work the same way. A little bit more movement back here in the pack. We've got several drivers close together. That's Danny Alt now starting to slip back through the field. He has gained 4 positions, but also we have this battle going on just in front. Manuel Gomez-Esteban now slipping back behind Jason Lowe, and as the front of this field starts to form up, it's David Strid, Graham Bunyan, Jason Lowe, Manuel Gomez-Esteban, and Mike West, your top 5. Here's even further back. We've got AJ Burton now already up into that 7th position, and there's Graham Bunyan by his sometimes teammate David Strid as they start to work together possibly to take over control of this race. So Graham Bunyan sneaking through that last time by, but here comes a hard charging Jason Lowe in 3rd position. Is he going to be able to take this position? Well, they go side by side into turn 1. Lowe thinks better of it. Decides to back out a little bit. Is that going to give a chance for Gomez-Esteban, who's having a stellar run, by the way, up here in 4th position. The Spaniard already looking great here in season 17. Will he be able to hold that? That is the question. Now Strid, will he try to make a move into turn 3? not so fast as we still stay focused on Jason Lowe, but now back at the front, it is Graham Bunyan leading here, lap number 8. And here comes David Strid down the inside. Try to take that position and book it. There he is, up into first position once again. The champion now looking to own this position and keep those tires clean. Here comes Graham Bunyan into the tunnel turn. This is a dangerous pass to make, but Strid not fighting him too much. Will concede that position, and these two look like they're trying to swap draft just enough to keep Jason Lowe behind at bay. Dropping back a little bit, it is Gomez Esteban in that 4th position, and here comes the hard-charging Mike West, up 2 spots already from where he started, and AJ Burton just behind. Now you see Mauro Ramirez gaining 7 spots on the start, and he is flying. Though he does have to kind of adjust his line as he exits turn 1, and that will now give Mike West the chance to dive underneath into the tunnel turn. He won't take that opportunity, though. And there, AJ Burton sticks his nose in there on the outside, headed into turn 3. AJ Burton now takes a look, as we see up in front. There, also AJ Burton now ahead of Mike West, so up in front. Mauro Ramirez now takes his car to the inside. A lot of movement thus far in the start of this one. Mauro now pulling off that pass, or does he? He actually slips back a little bit. He couldn't quite complete that pass, but MJ able to get through and back up at the front. It is Graham Bunyan and David Strid who continue to swap position with Jason Lowe right in tow. So we'll have to keep an eye on this battle as so much more action is happening here. What a fantastic racetrack. Great to have you with us. I don't know if I mentioned it, but of course, I'm Trevor Greenfield. You're watching here on VirtualRacing.Network, our ongoing coverage. Pleased to bring you our 7th straight season, and we even covered the very end of season 10. So this is going to be our 7th straight season here in virtual racing territory for the International IndyCar League, as it is now known. Of course, originally the U.S. IndyCar League. And here we take a look side by side. They're racing. It's Mauro Ramirez and AJ Burton. Now Burton on the outside. He'll take that position from MJ, move him up to that 5th position. AJ Burton now really flying down this racetrack, and we can see just up in front, it's Jason Lowe who's trying to make the move on David Strid. He's trying to break up this tandem here between David Strid and Graham Bunyan, and, well, what can I say? Bunyan may have taken a few races off, but he is conceding absolutely nothing to the hard-charging David Strid, who wants to keep that championship title in his hands. Now we see Gomez Esteban really struggling as AJ Burton has gotten in front, and now Burton sets his sights on this top 3. Lowe unable to get that pass done, and now the bullseye on that rear wing. Burton looks to close in. Burton making the move down the inside of the 3-time champion Jason Lowe. Move him up. That's Burton all the way up from where he had dropped to the back. And now he's up into that top group. He'll now slide into 3rd. Once again, representing that fantastic team of Team I5G. So legendary, so many fantastic drivers in that team. Just to name a few: Christopher Demerit, one of the greatest of all time on the iRacing service, as he's affectionately known amongst the iRacing community as the GOAT. But of course, Brandon Trano, numerous others that are part of that team. Kind of don't really keep up with who's where anymore, but exciting stuff. Anytime you see I5G on the side pod of a car, it means that that driver has not only been vetted, but they are really kind of the top gun, so to speak, of the iRacing service, and especially on ovals. I mean, it's kind of a crapshoot when you get to road races, to be honest with you, but you know, on these ovals, there is, I'd have to say, there really is no better team out there than Team i5G, and they've proven it time and time and time again. So congratulations to them. But today's race, a different deal. You know, you can't just rest on your laurels and rest on capability of the team. You got to go out there and fight for it. You can see that capability in AJ Burton. As you see things get stacked up just a little bit there at the front, that's going to allow AJ to perhaps take a look at the inside of David Strid, as Strid now sizes up Graham Bunyan, headed into turn 1. He'll fall off and kind of slide to the outside. We're now 16 laps into this 76 lap race. You can see Burton kind of diving to the inside, trying to break that toe perhaps of Jason Lowe, as these three now try to escape off into the distance and create their own race. Strid getting by Bunyan, and then Burton there in third. Looking a little bit further back, it is Jason Lowe. He's just behind, not very far. Will Burton take a run here on Bunyan? He does. He goes to the outside, and you can see Strid. He was trying to break the toe. Burton moves up into the second position. So he qualified on pole. I guess he decided he wanted to work from the back. But side by side, just behind as well, as Jason Lowe hangs on to that third spot. But here comes AJ Burton back to the lead. And AJ Burton gets very close to that outside wall, but he measured it just perfectly. He's been a race winner here multiple times in the league previously, but previously he also has just chosen to do one-off races. So perhaps that'll be the case with today. Either way, always great to have great competition in the field, and I know these drivers always deeply appreciate that situation where you get top talent, you get to benchmark yourself, and you get to take a chance on maybe beating one of the best out here on Sundays. So looking back again, it's Jason Lowe in third spot with Mauro Ramirez. And now where has Graham dropped to? Well, he's dropped all the way back to 5th place. So things not really working out so well with that pass that just happened. And here you can see just behind, Mike West and Manuel Gomez Esteban now battling it out for that 6th position. Side by side into turn 1 they go. It's Gomez Esteban on the outside, and West, it sounds like they made a little bit of contact. But West hanging on. Gomez Esteban trying to keep his nose in this fight for 5th place, or for 6th place rather. But it looks like he's going to drop back a little bit. Here's Ryan Bowles, multiple time winner here in International IndyCar League. And hanging on for dear life, kind of now dropped 5 positions from where he started. And so now in that 8th position, Howard Livingston for the Care Camps organization, raising awareness for what they do as well. See him there down in Summerlin Key, Florida, living one of those blessed lives in paradise, and so glad that he was able to escape the recent hurricane down there. But currently hanging on in 9th place, and just trying to get some points on the board for this season. Started off with no wrecks, and just try to hang on today. Here's Danny Alt. We don't get to see him out there racing too much. Sometimes he comes out and qualifies, but hey, he's out there. He's getting it done. He's in 10th place. He's up a spot from where he qualified. Rick Lovison, hometown Chicago, Illinois, but actually representing out of Massachusetts, where the Berkshire Lakefront Lodge is located. And Rick and I communicating a little bit offline. Let me tell you, gorgeous facility. Just a great place. You can go for hikes around there, and talking about perhaps coming up there and visiting old Rick, and doing some walks myself. Getting to visit the New England area sounds delightful, doesn't it? Well, book your stay up there and stay with Rick. Tell him that the International IndyCar League sent you. Here's Will Stearns He's running in 12th place. He unfortunately not able to keep up there at the front. And here you can see Dominic Harte today choosing to race with a totally different livery. Definitely a sign, a blast from the past. That previous Forsyth livery that is just so iconic to those of you. He's got the Ford badge on there, so you know that it's based off of the time in kart and champ car. And what a beautiful livery that is. Very reminiscent of the old glory days of kart and champ car. And certainly some good, fun memories. But now we've got AJ Burton and Graham Bunyan into the pits. AJ, Graham Bunyan, Ryan Bowles, Danny Alt, Rick Lovison, everybody into the pits right now on this lap. Robert Barnicow also making his way now out of the pits. So Burton in for his stop, and that will leave David Strid out there on the track. You can see Strid's team lined up there on pit lane, and this will be a lot of fun because we're actually using the... We'll get a chance to ride into the pits here with old Strid. There he is, making it down perfectly onto the pit speed limiter. And that will leave Jason Lowe out there on the track. Now, this is, we're going to go take a look how this looks here from the cockpit as we pull in for the pit stop for David Strid. You'll see the team work their way around the car. There they are, pulling the tires off and putting the new fresh Firestone Firehawks on. They'll hold them and they'll send him. That's how quick it's done here in the International IndyCar League. Good stuff. Right up onto the speed limit, and away he goes, exiting out the pits. And that is how fast you've got to get it done. There's not much time to take a drink from your drink bottle, or certainly can't. It's not like endurance racing where you have a very long pit stop and a possible driver change. You could even go take a wee if you want, but certainly you got to have your focus at all times. And here's Jason Lowe now making his pit stop, now falling down to third. But we will wait to see where he ends up again. I'll put that track map up there for you so you can check that out. But once again, great to have you here. 25 laps into this one, the first round of the season 17, cancer.org.au 190. Tell you what, you take a week off. Not even I guess a week off because it was the downtime of the in between the seasons. We're watching here as Dominic Harte still in the lead because he has not made his pit stop yet. Will Stearns now pitting from second place. AJ Burton actually up there in the lead, and that was taking the position away from Jason Lowe. So Lowe with a fantastic pit stop, able to really get some extra juju out of it, and now he continues to hold in that virtual second place on the track. So congratulations to him. It's been one of the areas I know he's been trying to clean up and get a little bit more competitive with the likes of Graham Bunyan, who, my goodness me, he's one of the absolute experts of being able to get that pit stop in. You know, I just realized there's no Dan Ensch in this field, and I also didn't get any sort of feedback from Dan as far as the pit information. So now putting two and two together, and no Dan Ensch in the field this first race, but I'm sure he'll be back. And of course, as I was saying, you know, we took 1 week off with not broadcasting, and then I flew 3,000 miles and flew back, and that actually wasn't the difficult part, but you got to shake a little bit of the rust off, and besides that, operating this thing from the replay file is quite a bit different in how you have to stage things. So either way, great to be back in the saddle here, the broadcasting booth here in just outside of Tacoma, Washington. And our headquarters will be moving very soon, so more updates on that. Very exciting stuff, and looking very forward to it. We'll be able to get even closer to the IndyCar action, but more news on that very soon. This is the stuff that matters. AJ Burton, Jason Lowe, David Strid, Graham Bunyan, all within a blanket's throw of each other. And here comes David Strid down the inside. Move him up into second place. Strid back in charge, and he'll look to track down A.J. Burton. But Burton, well, he pulled to the inside for some reason on that opening lap, but he's done nothing but charge through this field and now take command. And you can also see that Graham Bunyan, although he had fallen back after getting past, he's now stalking the likes of Jason Lowe as well. It's probably a matter of time until he makes that move to the inside. We'll keep watching for that to happen. Meanwhile, just behind it is still M.J. Ramirez hanging on to that 5th spot. He's up 7 positions so far today, the hard charger, so to speak. We'll watch to see whether or not he can pull off that top 5 position in today's race. And of course, that's really what you're looking to do is, you know, you really just want to kind of take over and start the new season with you know, like the top 5. It's good benchmark. It says, you know, you've got a really great chance at a championship this season. Perfectly positions you potentially to take, you know, top 5 in the championship, certainly, but possibly top 3, top 2. Any of that is possible. Really, consistency is the name of the game, and we saw that earlier in the points table. And one of the things we really didn't mention in that points table early on was the fact that the most bonus points, 23 bonus points, ended up going to David Strid, the guy who won the championship. Now, I know I talk about it. It's only 23 points, but it is worth noting that those bonus points more often than not do in fact help a driver take a position or 2 in the championship. Now, I'm not going to say that's what won him the championship, because the margin was much larger than that, as we see Ryan Bowles now making a move on Manuel Gomez-Esteban. But it certainly helped. I mean, so getting out there, leading a lap, you know, getting to take your chance at the front, and perhaps leading the most laps, well, A.J. Burton, regardless of whether he wants to stick around and race the whole rest of this championship or not, certainly he will get that bonus point, and he's off to possibly getting, well, he got the bonus point for the pole position as well. And if he can lead the most laps here today, he'll take 3 bonus points home with him. That's pretty awesome stuff to start the season with a 3-point advantage over literally everybody just because you're up there in the lead. Just behind David Strid, your 4-time, oh, I'm sure he'd love to be 4-time. He could have been 4-time champion. He's had that much talent, but no, he won 6 races last season. He's hanging in there in 2nd place. And now we've got M.J. Ramirez on the outside, as, in fact, we missed it, but we'll go back here and take a look. Just moments ago, this was, there it is, Graham Bunyan getting by on the outside of Jason Lowe, able to snag that position. And now we'll go back to the more live picture. I have to say more live because, oh, there's a big contact between Gomez-Esteban and Ryan Bowles. Wow, my goodness. Let's just back that up here. We can take a look live, sort of live on this replay here and see what happens. Here's Gomez-Esteban on the outside, lining up Ryan Bowles on the inside, and just snags him as he tries the over-under move. I think the timing was just off there, but nevertheless, the replay kind of resetting, and it looks as though he didn't actually sustain the damage that our computer thought that he did. So hopefully both of those drivers kind of okay after that incident. Just behind it is in 9th place, it's Howard Livingston in that gearcamps.org machine. So the Howard Livingston fans out there taking note of where he's at in the field, and perhaps he will be trying to give it his next move here very soon. A.J. Burton, meanwhile, out front. 35 laps now coming into this one. We are rapidly approaching halfway through with this race, and now you can see MJ Ramirez up there in the mix. So MJ having a good run here and perhaps looking to take that position and work his way into the top 3, but not so fast, says Jason Lowe. Lowe now pokes his nose in front with that Kirby pink pig. And he can't quite pull it off as MJ stays in the slipstream of the cars in front. And of course, that's really one of the keys, as we see Ryan Bowles. In fact, he does have damage, and perhaps he might have put the car into the wall with some of that sustained damage from the previous incident. We're not going to get a chance to go back and look, but he'll get a chance to get that damage repaired, and hopefully he'll only lose 1 lap, as this is a 2.5-mile circuit, and he will have plenty of time to get in, get it fixed, and get back out before they come around a second time. And of course, that means that should the caution come out relatively soon, there we see Gomez Esteban also pitting, probably having to get that damage fixed. So Danny Alt also in the pits at the moment. And this is where the race is at. 5 drivers here on lap number 37. Just so close, you can't even throw a blanket over them. It's some tight racing here at the front halfway through this one. Just 1 caution early on, and it's pretty much been everyone fighting at the front since then. So tricky triangle, sure, but close, tight, fast racing is what we have here in the International IndyCar League. And what a great way to start off the season with a bang here. Great drivers, great track, and we're kind of bookending the season with 2.5 milers. It's kind of the way it should be. I love this format. I hope, honestly, the league doesn't choose to change it. It's so wonderful to have Pocono be the start. I mean, honestly, I'd just love to see this continue each and every season. It really works out well. It's fantastic racing here at this track, and great drafting, and the real life league really can't return. The real life series can't really return here. Perhaps it was deemed too unsafe because of Robert Wickens. Of course, we'd all love to see them actually get back in. But Strid now into the pits. We'll watch him as he comes down, and now we'll try to see if we can get a good camera view here of him getting that service on pit lane. There you see the team racing around up on the jacks, and now they'll let him down. They'll send him on his way. Good stuff. Love that animation. My goodness, it would be so fun if we could actually get that from iRacing. And so back here, I say back, from iRacing in the live feed, but because we're here on a replay from David Strid, we're actually able to see his team operating, so that's excellent. And here's AJ Burton coming down pit lane to take service. Jason Lowe just behind. And Lowe brings it to a stop. Will Stearns also now flying down through the pits, of course under speed limiter. And things looking good, looking better than ever here on the iRacing service. Of course, feel free if you want to join the International IndyCar League, as we see now Graham Bunyan with Mauro Ramirez just behind, now making his way into the pits. Feel free if you want to join in. There's a link down in the description of this video. Take you right over to the official iRacing page for the for the International IndyCar League, and you too can get started. You'll be welcomed into the field's Saturday practice session, where you can demonstrate that you know what you're doing behind the wheel, and then they will bring you out here on Sundays, and we'll get a chance to call your name. You'll get a chance to take on the likes of Graham Bunyan, David Strid, Jason Lowe, etc. Here's Bunyan coming back out. You can see he's ahead of AJ Burton, but not for long. There comes AJ on the outside. So it's Burton and Bunyan, 1-2 with Lowe, Strid, and I believe that's MJ Ramirez just behind. So now Mike West and Rick Lovison pitting from 3rd and 4th position. That leaves Howard Livingston out there to collect one of those bonus points before he decides to pull it in. And also in second place, Dominic Harte. Of course, the presenting driver for today's presenting sponsor, or today's race sponsor, I should say, Cancer Council out of Australia. Of course, you are watching the cancer.org.au 190 presented by Dominic Harte. And once again, we'll get a chance to talk much more here very soon. We may have to cut into the green flag broadcast, but don't worry, you won't miss a thing. We'll go side by side. But that's just the way it goes. If it's going to be green this whole time, we'll have to break into it. Nevertheless, Harte there with that Forsyth livery from the past. Beautiful machine. And, of course, we can all remember the cigarette sponsorship that used to be on there. Those were some good old days. I mean, depends on how you look at it. I personally remember going to the racetrack as a much younger man for sure. But going to the racetrack, and I had 3-4 different cigarette companies giving me free cigarettes in those days. You all remember it. It was, if you're a cigarette smoker, those are some good days. You walk away with 3 packs of this brand and that brand. You weren't going to have to buy smokes for that week, that's for sure. But, of course, you know, cigarettes, you know, this is a cancer race, cancer awareness race, and, well, cigarettes, of course, leading to lung cancer, throat cancer, even digestive cancers as well, and that's really what this race is all about, is bringing awareness. And as you probably know by now, cigarettes not good for you. So it's a good thing that that time has phased out and this new young generation is not being exposed to that constantly. But let's go ahead and jump on board with AJ Burton, take a lap around this racetrack as he tries to keep Graham Bunyan at bay. Burton headed down into turn 1. He's got it pretty much under control. Back on board, though. He heads down towards the tunnel turn. It's a nice wide arc. Comes down to that apex. Lets the car ride out. Really looks like he's just on a Sunday drive out here. Now, this turn 3 complex, based off of Milwaukee, and it's tricky to get it quite right, to be honest with you. Yeah, not easy, but if you get the right line through the corner, fairly easy to keep it held into that line until the tires start to wear. So you really do have to watch how the tires wear, and of course, we always have David Strid, the setup master, to thank for these very raceable, controllable setups that we get to use here in the International IndyCar League. And Dominic Harte now pitting. So he will give up that lead position as the cars now circle around. But Burton now taking over that lead and keeping Graham Bunyan in tow. There you see Jason Lowe, David Strid, and M.J. Ramirez, your top 5. Beautiful song of these Dallara IR-18 IndyCars, and just today, as we can see now, Strid now taking the position from Lowe. As they head through that tunnel turn, Lowe tucking back in behind. See whether Lowe decides to make his presence known again. You see MJ kind of battling back and forth there, but to finish my point earlier, we were going to be switching engine formulas for the real life league here, and perhaps getting a new car, etc. And the league deciding that they're going to not do that same engine formula. So stay tuned, or excuse me, the series. So stay tuned on what that spec change will mean. And of course, kind of the hand-me-down of that within due time would be to these iRacers. So still using the same formula that's been out there, and not really yet thinking of the brand new formula that was supposed to be introduced, but certainly all of these drivers probably looking forward to getting a new challenge. However, iRacing does frequently introduce new updates to this same car, and it's kind of frustrating, if I'm being honest, especially if you do open setup racing. It's you know, you gotta really go out there and grind every single hundredth of a second out of each one of these setups if you're going to go out there and try and do open or try to do league racing with open setups. And iRacing goes and introduces an update that could just literally squash your whole setup, and you pretty much have to start, I wouldn't say from scratch, because a lot of the same stuff can kind of carry over once you get into whatever the change was. But it happens so frequently that all your set. Oh, and there, M.J. Ramirez up into the wall, exiting, I believe that was turn 1. So MJ now falling back from this lead group, and that's unfortunate because he had a really fantastic run going. And by the way, oh, there he comes down below the apex. Just trying to hang on. You got to be careful getting below that apex yellow line here at Pocono. But that brand new livery, by the way, thought I would point out the name on there, Vopsy. Great artist who you can get your paints done through, and I was very glad to be able to refer MJ. I should know more artists for paint jobs than I do, but I got a chance to work personally with Vopsy, and great human being and a great artist, and of course responsible for the Three Crowns Racing outfit. Well, I guess it's now the IAR outfit overall, and doing all of those really flashy paint jobs over there. So getting this one done here, and it looks like $1 million. You get to see the big International IndyCar League logo on the back, but hey, you know, sometimes the simplest ones are the easiest ones, and the easiest, most memorable. Team I5G not really changing their livery very often, but it still looks super sharp. And AJ Burton looks like $1 million out there in that number 17 car today, I'll tell you that much. Looking in second place, Graham Bunyan. He's hanging on well. The 101 machine looking like he is a 5-time consecutive champion, and looking like he did not lose a single beat, chasing his friend AJ Burton, who isn't a teammate, obviously, because AJ is part of the I5G, but oftentimes AJ was in the ear of Graham Bunyan for many of those victories and part of those championship efforts. So those two going way back, and it's great to see them out there trying to battle each other, although they're probably more working together at the moment, just trying to survive through this race. So why don't we go ahead, and I have no idea whether we're going to get another caution while things are kind of a little easier to talk about here. We're going to, and by the way, Jason Lowe now pitting from 7th position. So why don't we go ahead and break away? We'll pay some bills here, and then we will come back in just a moment with the live picture. You'll get a chance to find out all about the cancer.org.au, the Cancer Council out of Australia, and exactly what they do.
This is life. Life in a day of cancer. That's Ensch. She keeps people safe from the sun. There's Tom. He always forgets to put his hat on. And Molly's helping people smile again. Sometimes people need a place to stay, or someone like Bill to take them places. Then there's the science people, the community groups, the volunteers, and all the people who listen. There's even special times to tell loved ones how much they're missed, and places for people affected by cancer to talk to each other. And tomorrow, with your help, we all start again.
If you or someone you know has received a cancer diagnosis, it can be an overwhelming, difficult time. Making sense of what happens next can be hard. That's why Cancer Council is here for you. Working alongside people affected by cancer, Cancer Council has developed your guide to best cancer care. Each guide explores and explains cancer care, from diagnosis through treatment and beyond. They set out what tests should be completed and when, as well as what can happen at each step of your cancer experience. They also include questions to consider asking your healthcare team. They provide valuable, relevant information and address the physical, emotional, and social concerns you might have. The guides are available for many different cancer types and can be accessed in 7 different languages. There are also specific guides for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. Your guide can help you recognise best care options and better participate in conversations regarding your care or the care of someone you know. Cancer Council's guides to best cancer care are designed to empower you to make informed decisions and help you feel more in control of your treatment and care. To access the guides or for more information, visit our website or call us. Cancer Council is here for you at every part of your cancer experience.
So there you have it. Just an absolutely fantastic organization operating out of Australia, of course. I suppose I don't want to talk about it too much, but basically my own mother having breast cancer and surviving that, only to end up passing away due to complications due to that surgery. My father recently having cancer and now receiving treatment for it. I mean, the reality is that if you don't end up suffering with cancer yourself, certainly somebody you know will be suffering with cancer, and it affects so many people that really we all need to have the awareness. We should all take the time to head over to cancer.org.au and find out much more. It doesn't matter where in the world you are. Fantastic resource for so much information. And these videos were pulled from their YouTube channel as well. And of course, it's a fantastic resource with tons of videos, great stories about surviving cancer, how to survive cancer, how to help your loved ones. It's just one of those things that we don't want to face it. We want to think that we're going to live forever. We want to think that it's not going to find us, but it does. And obviously, I hope and pray that none of you who are listening or watching or racing have to deal with that and suffer with it. But even just looking at the statistics, I mean, honestly, it's going to affect most of the people. Like, if we have 16 drivers in this field, I mean, at least half of them are going to either have cancer or know somebody who will. So just some of the stats, though, for the Cancer Council. Over 2 million little Aussies protected, talking about the Sun Smart School program and really getting out there and talking with the kids directly about how to prevent cancer, skin cancer, by using sunscreen and by trying to stay out of the sun and protect themselves. Over $62.9 million invested into research across Australia, along with research partners, the largest non-government funder of research in the whole of Australia. As you see Howard Livingston there on your screen, pitting, as well as Dominic Harte, who's now taking over the lead, our presenting driver for today's race. And although that is Ryan Bowles behind him, who's actually a lap down. And then finally, services were used over 250,000 times by Australians affected by cancer, providing vital support when they need it most and making every stage of their cancer journey easier. Again, I am about to become a caregiver, and I think many of us, as our parents age, we start to fill that role. And so definitely head over to cancer.org.au, make a donation. That's how all of this gets done. That's how they make all of this awareness possible. They're saving little ones and everybody right now. So, you know, great place to read up on how to handle it and how to help your loved ones. Cancer.org.au. We thank Dominic Harte for bringing this awareness, and of course he's on screen right now. And again, the irony can't really be lost. It's if you look there on your screen with 14 laps to go, he is racing with what formerly was a cigarette paint job, and of course now it doesn't say that on there anymore, but it just tells you how far we've come in 20 years. Back in the day that was acceptable, and today, although there is you know, certainly like vape products that can be out there, and we have alcohol, etc., those things not going to cause cancer as much as the old cigarettes were, and certainly tobacco and chewing tobacco and stuff like that. So you know, one of those people who passed away not that long ago due to complications from that stuff, Carl Haas, you'd always see him in the pits with a stogie in his mouth, and well, it's kind of a generational thing. I think it's kind of leaving the social world. And so either way, Dominic Harte putting on a great display here. He's off strategy for, I think, the race winning strategy, but he did take a chance, and with more yellow flags, it might have worked out in his favor to be up there. But either way, he is going to have to pit before too long, make that final pit stop, and that will allow AJ Burton to cycle through. Ryan Bull staying up there and close and trying to keep up in it so that he can get his lap back, but too little too late, unfortunately, probably for him to get up there into the front mix, unless we do have another yellow flag that he can do that. Either way, pitting last on lap 59, so he will need another pit stop most likely. So these drivers, Dominic Harte, AJ Burton, and we'll get that track map up there. AJ Burton just behind with Graham Bunyan in tow. David Strid just behind him. M.J. Ramirez solidly into that virtual 4th place on the track, and Jason Lowe into 5th place on the track virtually. Howard Livingston in 6th place virtually, and I say virtually because Dominic will have to pit from the lead here. We just wait for that to happen. Will not be this lap, but continues to cycle around and lead laps here at the Pocono Raceway. We'll keep walking down through the field. Here's Burton with Bunyan now about 0.6 of a second back, not too far back that Bunyan can't close that gap and make it a race here at the end. Again, you're watching on VirtualRacing.Network coverage of round number 1, season 17, the Cancer.org AU 190, presented by Dominic Harte. This is the International IndyCar League. Last season's champion, David Strid, currently running in 4th place, although here comes Dominic Harte into the pits. Looks like he had a little rough entry there, but he does make it in, and looking up the track, there he is, AJ Burton, the man of the day, taking pole position, leading, I believe, the most laps here, and now back out into the lead. Kind of looks like it's a 2 or 3 car battle as it has developed, as Jason Lowe is now well out of this picture in what is now 5th place, and MJ Ramirez just in front. He's having a great run. Look at that, 4th place. MJ, I was flying this last week. I got to fly 2 different flights, and I stopped over in Dallas Fort Worth, and I tell you what, I could just feel the MJ the MJ energy. I just wanted to go to the Texas Motor Speedway and go out there and see some IndyCars, but it was at the wrong time, and the layover was only about 2 hours each time. But we'll have to get together sometime and hang out. Either way, cool stuff to be in the land where everything is bigger. And by the way, if you've never been to that airport in Dallas Fort Worth, my goodness, it is a big airport. and obviously where a lot of connecting flights happen. And you take a little sky tram that takes you from point A to point B. And I tried to, they changed my gate on me a couple of times. Like, it was so annoying. It's like, you know, 11 o'clock at night and they're changing the gate on you. And I had this opportunity. I could just walk, because I was like at C gate or something and they were changing it to B gate. And I just thought, oh, okay, I see the sign. I'll just walk to it. Biggest mistake of my life. Don't do that. Take that sky tram. Do yourself a favor. Take the sky tram. Otherwise, you're going to be walking for a very long time, especially if it's in the middle of the night. Here we go, back on the track, though. 7 laps to go. It's Howard Livingston for the Care Camps, Coconut Castaways, side by side racing with Mike West. West pulls ahead. This for that 6th position. Oh, and Livingston just pulls up behind. I don't know how he narrowly missed that, but Gomez Esteban there shown in the background, but he is not on that lead lap. He's actually first car lap down as Bulls, or perhaps, well, we'll have to see. No, Bulls did manage to get that lap back, and he is holding on to it, so congratulations to him holding on and staying up there. Well, as we like to do now, why don't we go ahead and let the likes of Graham Bunyan and AJ Burton battle it out here. I'll shut up and you can just crank that baby up, but let's listen to the song of these Dallara IR-18 IndyCars for a couple of laps. AJ Burton pulls up to the backside of 5-time consecutive champion Graham Bunyan. He's making his presence known in the mirrors of Bunyan. Will he have something to say as Barney the flagman gets ready to throw that white flag up in the air just one more time around this speedway? Here we are on the final lap. It's these two who will battle it out for the for this race win. It is Burton and Bunyan, friends off the track, but on the track there is no love lost between these two. They're side by side headed to the tunnel turn. Who will it be? Burton on the inside, Bunyan on the outside. They head through the tunnel turn. It still isn't settled. They'll take it through turn 3. Burton has the edge headed into turn 3. Bunyan holds tight on the outside. He tries to bring it down to the inside. No, he'll stay to the outside, and there they go across the line, and I don't know who took it. It says it's AJ Burton by 0.01 of a second. Photo finish. I can't even believe it. What a finish for these two. Burton and Bunyan across the line. Nothing between them. Oh my. Let's take a look back. Let's watch this again at this final lap as they go across the line. Oh my goodness me. We could just back it up and see how close it was between these two. And absolutely nothing between them. That is your photo finish right there, ladies and gentlemen. My God, wow, that is something else. You never see that. Usually there's at least 1/1000th of a second difference, but oh my goodness, let's see if we can keep rotating this camera around. There it is. I mean, I've never seen a closer finish than that. And for Burton to take the finish and leave absolutely nothing on the line, wow-wee, that is something to behold. And what a way to start the season for these drivers. Absolutely incredible stuff. My goodness. Let's take one more look. We'll back it up here and we'll watch this whole thing unfold just one more time here as they go across the line. Make sure that we get the right lap going for you. And there we go. So this is the final lap heading into turn 1. AJ Burton ahead, headed into turn 1 here. And Graham Bunyan stalking him in that second position. Taking that draft. Jump back to the Bunyan machine. Gets that run on the outside. And he looks to the inside. And you can see that Burton, I think Bunyan kind of gave him that inside spot there and kind of let him take that spot. But here comes Bunyan on the outside. Now, Bunyan, I think, was thinking to do the over-under, but because Burton gave him that opportunity, he took the run down the outside, and my goodness. What a great show from multiple race winner AJ Burton here in the International IndyCar League and multiple-time champion. I mean, he's probably won 50 races by now in this league, Graham Bunyan. What an astounding finish, and congratulations to AJ Burton, Graham Bunyan, and of course David Strid, who takes third place here at the Tricky Triangle. Fantastic way to start out the season. Race number 1, Pocono, the cancer.org.au 190, presented by Dominic Harte. Of course, we're so grateful and thankful for his sponsorship, for bringing awareness for such a great cause. Again, head over to cancer.org.au, make your donation today, and it's just a little way you can give back, which is one of the few ways that you can give back here for the International IndyCar League, and let them know that that we sent you. And woo, smokes those brakes, headed down in to the start-finish line, and I don't know if Burton's going to do any celebratory donuts. It's not necessarily his style, but we'll see. Graham Bunyan pulls it in second, and I'm sure Strid will line up here in third. There it is. That's your podium for today. We'll get that final race results up here on the screen as Strid, in his typical fashion, does celebrate and does those donuts here. You can see your final running order up there on the screen right now. AJ Burton for Team I5G taking the victory with not even a feather between him and Graham Bunyan, but apparently enough that they give him the win over Bunyan. Bunyan having to settle for second, but what a heck of a finish. And you can see Bunyan also celebrating out there on the track as well with donuts. David Strid, last season's champion. Well, he held in there tight. He was up there in the front as usual. He's going to start the season off with the third most points, and that will be interesting to see how this develops. Fourth going to Jason Lowe. Fifth to Mike West. Fantastic run for him. Great finish, and you can see how close it was between between Lowe and Strid and Mike West, as Lowe able to take the position by less than a second, And Howard Livingston not very far behind as well. So all three of those drivers very close to one another in the finishing order. Livingston really making it work there down the long run, racing for that CureCamps.org Coconut Castaways racing team. Of course, Jason Lowe also racing for Rescue Ranch. We'll get a chance to talk about both of those organizations later on in the season. Dominic Harte, today's race sponsor. We, of course, will get a chance to... Sorry, just making a little adjustment here. And there we can get some of our post-race music going, even though we unfortunately won't get a chance to talk with anybody today. They're all kind of busy doing other stuff. But just going down through the rest of the order here, Rick Lovison ending up in 8th place. Great run for him, top 10 to start the season. Ryan Bowles qualified much better than that. And I think he had that incident early on with Manuel Gomez-Esteban, and that really cost him. Again, Bowles just kind of the unfortunate recipient of a lot of these types of little one-off incidents, and that's really unfortunate for him because he has so much speed and capability, though he might consider that side pod choice so we can focus the camera on him a bit more. M.J. Ramirez there in 10th place. Congratulations, top 10 for him, but of course he was running up in the top 5 and even in 4th at one point, so it's going to be a disappointment to him to start the season that way, but still top 10. He still hung on for some good points. Will Stearns in 11th. He also qualified much better than that. He'll look to get back in it and maybe get some better racing in next time. Manuel Gomez-Esteban, again, he started off towards the front, and I still don't have any sort of indication as to why our grid showed differently than that, but nevertheless, he did start towards the front, and unfortunately, he ended up with an incident that put him back in 12th. Robert Barnical making another appearance this season. Great to have him sticking around. Danny Alt in 14th. Always great to see him actually start the race. Unfortunately, ending up 29 laps down. Iñigo Mardones with the Necki Racing team. Sorry, I should say Manuel Gomez-Esteban, of course, with Team Mazinger as well. And Matty Simpson rounding it out. Not getting in that many laps out there today and deciding to park it. I believe he was racing in that yellow submarine machine. So let's go ahead and get this stuff off the screen. We'll take a look at the upcoming schedule here on VirtualRacing.Network. And be able to get that. There we go. And so apologize for cutting off the cool music there in the background, but there you can see it on your screen. This first race here for the cancer.org.au 190 presented by Dominic Harte at Pocono. Some great racing coming up here very shortly. Our one and only road course of the season this season going to be coming from Monza. That will be next week. This coming Sunday, December 11th. The Italian Indy Grand Prix. Make sure that you're here for that. 45 laps around the historic Monza circuit. Michigan coming up after that. What a great, wide open, high-speed racetrack. Sure hope that we get a lot of great racers here for that one. Rescue Ranch 190 presented by Jason Lowe. Always a pleasure to talk about the Rescue Ranch and what they do to save all of these animals as well. So that'll be a fun one to talk about. Homestead appearing for the 4th race, the Miami New Year 190. That's actually happening on New Year's Day. For me, that will be very early in the morning, but actually I'm moving, so I get an extra 2 hours just to give you an idea where I might be moving to, where our headquarters might be located out of. You'll have to piece 2 and 2 together. If you know me personally, you probably already have it figured out, but there you go. So it'll be up and early. I better not partake too much of festivities and get ready to do that broadcast. But Homestead, that's a great track. We'll look forward to getting back there. Texas Motor Speedway, it's a classic D-shaped oval. Chicagoland for the Chicagoland 190. What can I say? It's one of those tracks that seems like it's going to be easy and follow the leader, but always something special happens in that race, and certainly you have to be patient, and patience is a virtue. So we'll look forward to that one, whether everybody can be patient or not and stick it out to the end. Phoenix, what a great race, what a great track. They reversed the layout, and now it's really a cool one. The Just Breathe 190, presented by myself, Trevor Greenfield. I'll get a chance to talk a little bit about some of the stuff that I'm focusing on with my other career besides broadcasting, and helping people with breath work, meditation, trauma healing, and more. So we'll get a chance to talk about that during the Just Breathe 190. Iowa for the ALZ.org Awareness 190, presented by Dan Ensch. What a great circuit. The real life series is there again, and they did raise the ticket prices, which is much to the annoyance of a lot of people, but they also added some great headlining music events. So either way, great chance to talk about Alzheimer's awareness, and of course Dan Ensch, always a great presenting sponsor of that. The Worldwide Technology Raceway for the St. Louis 190 coming up February 5th. Motegi, once again, another kind of follow the leader track, but who knows? With tire degradation and, again, patience of virtue, anything can happen there. Join us for that one, the Japan 190. And then another race presented by Dominic Harte at the iRacing Super Speedway. If you thought Michigan was fast, wait till we go to the iRacing Super Speedway. The Cancer Research UK.org, presented by Dominic Harte, should be a blast. Make sure you mark that one on your calendar. And as always, we end the season presented by Howard Livingston, the Care Camps 250 from Indy, the legendary track. What more can be said about Indy other than, it is just that amazing, amazing racetrack where dreams are made, and who doesn't want to win at the Brickyard? So really, that's going to do it for us here on today's broadcast. And of course, so much thanks goes to the International IndyCar League and all of those who are running it. Now Mike West is the chief steward, and also the new president, M.J. Ramirez. So if you are interested in either sponsoring or you want to get started as a racer in the International IndyCar League, make sure you look down in the description and click through that link. Get a chance to talk with those who are in charge, and you'll get a chance to come on over and participate. It'd be great having you here on the broadcast. So on behalf of everybody here in the International IndyCar League, I'm Trevor Greenfield. You've been watching VirtualRacing.Network. Make sure to hit that big subscribe button and hit that big like button, and we'll have much more for you here in Season 17. We're just getting started. Congratulations to AJ Burton taking victory here in just the slimmest of margins over Graham Bunyan.